Welcome to the Mindset Unleashed Today podcast. My name is Tommy Gucciardo, and I'm excited to share my insights and experiences with you to help you shift your mindset and improve your life. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be exploring different areas of life, discussing how to make positive changes. Now, I'll be doing this by interviewing guests who can provide additional perspectives and their experiences. I believe that by making a mindset shift, we can all unleash our full potential and create the lives we want to live. I hope you'll join me on this journey. All right, I want to welcome everybody back to Mindset Unleashed, where we focus on the power of the mind and how it transforms our lives on a daily basis. I'm your host, Tommy Gucciardo, and today I got a phenomenal guest. Now, this guy, Luckie Mazi, says he's the greatest promoter in the world, on earth, excuse me. So we're going to have to find this out, but I think he is, right? He started at a very young age in the music business. He's been around. He's an entrepreneur. He's got music out right now with Mr. Cheeks and Corrupt from Outkast, right?
The Dog Pound.
From Dog Pound.
Dog Pound. Yeah.
And we had a conversation before, and this guy, he's got a lot of stories. I can relate to him. He's come from a good family. I'm not going to tell his whole story. I'm just going to really give a brief, and then I'm going to kick it over to him. But, incarcerated, good parents, good family, spent time in jail, addiction, and, just a solid guy that's changing his life. And why don't you just give us a little quick background of who you are, what you are, and how you got involved in music, and we'll go from there, man.
Oh, thank you for having me, first of all. I really
problem.
appreciate it.
No problem.
How I got started in music is I worked for a company back in Chicago. It was for nonviolence, for putting down guns, and they used to have me hosting shows in different communities, different parks, and things like that for independent artists. That's how we were getting over to the neighborhood. And I met this wonderful man by the name of Dwayne Holmes, and he was at that time the Midwest regional rep for J Records, and he also held the marketing for different other companies too through subsidiary marketing work, and that just allowed me to always be around everyone. I mean, Puffy, 50, Lloyd Banks, Jasmine Sullivan, Music Soul Child. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And I also attended Columbia College Chicago, and that just kept me grounded to what direction I wanted to go in, and that's how I started off in music.
Okay, cool. Now, that's the good part, right? Talk to me
Right, that's the
about
good stuff.
what the problems that you had growing up, and we talked about being incarcerated and your brother and stuff like that. Why don't you share us a little bit about that, and tell the people a little bit about that?
No problem. Growing up in Chicago, although I did grow up in a great family and a great household, we still got entrapped by, the different things going on. Got ourselves into a bad group. Just growing up, it's not even really a bad group. We created a bad group, and by the time I was 19, my brother got locked up, and that hit our family really hard. And that left me, pretty much solo, and I had to lean on music to get me through, and that's when everything started to happen really good. Um, about down the line, I also went to prison. You know what I mean? Violent acts, and um, the lesson I learned from that was, especially having to go through Cook County Jail and the Illinois Department of Correction system. I just messed up, and at that point in time, um, I just felt really bad because both me and my brother were not really living up to what we were expected to be, and I moved to Vegas after that. After I got released, I moved to Vegas, and again, I got put in position with a lot of great people, man, and I got greedy. I start using drugs
Mm-hmm.
more often, way more frequently. And in in Vegas, you really don't realize it, but when you wake up, you you toot a little bit, you drink a little bit, and then it keeps going on and on and on. And next thing you
Right.
know, you have an addiction.
Right.
And my brother, I lost everything. I mean, the second time around, like I lost everything. I didn't lose my business partners and friends like that, but they kind of shied away.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they saw that I was declining.
They saw you in a spiral, right? They saw you out
Yeah,
of control.
they saw me out of control, and by the time I got locked up for the second time, man, I the one thing about getting locked up while you're doing drugs is like that forces you to actually be sober. Although there are drugs in prison.
Listen,
Uh,
I spent a lot of time in prison. There was drugs in there too. If you wanted to find a way to use, you can use, and
yeah,
and that's a time where, like, just for me, like, you know, it was quiet time, right? Like, nobody had to know I could use, I wouldn't, no, but I didn't use, right? Like I got
right.
through it. And, that takes a lot of fortitude and a lot of strength to do that.
It does. It does. And especially, when you're in prison, there's pretty much everything that you can just imagine
Right.
if you want to spend your
Right.
money to
Right.
do that, if you want to spend your commissary to do that. And it just hit me, man, again, like it was like we talked earlier, it was like a spiritual awakening, like, why am I here? You know
Right.
what I mean? And I just created a plan. Like I really buckled down in my mind, like I'm not gonna do drugs again. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna connect back with the people that love me and my friends. And here's a funny story, right? When I got released, I went right back to doing drugs, man. Like I could not believe it, man. Like I knew that drugs had a hold on me and I needed to control it. Because while I was in prison, it was easy to say, "Hey, I'm gonna stay away from this. I'm gonna stay away from that." You know what I mean? Lockdown is really serious, and if you really don't focus on who's bringing it in and who's all that, you just really, you're not in that mix.
Right. You just keep your head down and you don't even have to look. You don't know where it is. You just,
Exactly. Like,
but once you
hear no evil, see
once
no
you're out
evil.
of jail, man, then like there's nobody watching you. The CO's not watching you. The counselors aren't watching you. You're on your
Right.
own, and then you gotta fend for yourself. So like that's when the real test comes in.
And I failed. And
Right. It's all right. Hey, listen, listen, listen. It's not about failing, man. This is you know these are parts of our lives that we learn from, and how we
hmm
get better from them. We 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 find out where you know, I hate that word fail, right? That fail is such a bad word, right?
it's
You
such
learn
a
a
hard
lesson.
word.
You learn
Yeah,
a
you learned a
lesson,
lesson. Yeah.
right? And now you know what you have to do. Now how to stay clean and how to live another day. That's the most important thing.
It is. And the thing was, as much as I still had my family. Like I called back home and I was like, "Hey, get me out of here," you know, like get me out of here. And I just hopped on a bus, hopped on a plane, one way ticket, went back home. And being back home, my friends, my really good friends, like my buddy, I'm always gonna say this, DJ Rybread, and guys at Studio 2020 Chicago, they were just really like, "Hey, get back into it, get back into it." And to me, I'm defeated. You know what I mean? I just want to be clean and just live. You know what I mean? Like, hit some goals, like get a job, and the stuff when you get out of prison. You're just like trying to do stuff. Is one step at a time. And they're like, "Nah, man, like you got to get back into this. We got to do it again." And as soon as I made the decision to stop, because I had a conversation with someone, and he said, "I got this group. I could send you to NNA AA." And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "Let's go tonight." And he's one of the musicians at the studio. He's actually he's part owner, and he know who I am, and he see where I'm trying to go, and he's like, "Nah, come with me tonight." So I went with him to this NA meeting, and it was so profound that I immediately, not soon after that, I started to get psychological help, and I admitted myself into rehab. So by 2019, I'm on my journey to recovery, and yeah, and I've been clean since then.
Wow, that's phenomenal. And you're in an industry that I'm sure you're in a lot of nightclubs, you're in a lot of situations where there's drinking, where there's people smoking and partying. How do you keep yourself away from that? Or how do you like just stay back and don't use?
Well, it's part of the industry, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. You know what I mean? And everybody has to go through their phase of, if I do want to hang out and drink, and or if I don't. Now, how I'm getting through it now is because I am with a wonderful person, and her name is Kelly. Uh, yeah, she's a nurse, and she's pretty much on top of me about every and anything that I do. You know what I mean? Which is okay. And again, if I'm in the club surroundings, I'm usually with her,
Good. So you
or
have a
I'm,
support system with you.
yep, and my buddies like Stevie, Ty. This ain't 2K. This ain't 2K is in rehab too. Like, he's recovering. Two of my partners, like, they all know, like, no, Lucky is not going to do this. He's
Right.
not going to go over there. He's
Right.
not going to do that. He's not, and they're
Right.
very active with me. Like, nah, we're not
That's
doing
phenomenal, man.
that.
It's great to have support. That's what it's all about, because if you're by yourself, you never know. You just never know. You
Yeah,
always need that extra support, in your life. Um, you know,
impulse.
so
You know what I mean? That's what I talk about a lot. Is like the impulse
right.
decision making. People, places, and things. You
Yep.
know, um, being alone, it is different. But I usually, if I am alone, I go do something, and I go
Mhm.
right back to my room,
Right.
and I'm done for the night. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
I've we've been there, we've done that already. You know
Right.
what I mean? I know what it feels like to, be with hot girls, or be with the flossing guys and all that stuff. Like, that's all fun, and it's all okay. I commend people for
Yeah,
having
some
fun,
people
but
could do that. I know if I do that, I'm not coming home,
mm,
so
I'm not coming home at all, man. Like,
right.
it's not a good thing.
So now, how does that help you with your music? Like being through all these things, being through, being incarcerated, using, um, your brother getting locked up, having good families. Like, how do you incorporate that do you incorporate that stuff into your music?
I do, I do. Living that certain lifestyle of, growing up in a great household. It teaches you responsibility and different lessons. And then growing up in Chicago and or North Las Vegas, those teach you different lessons. And I really couldn't tell you. I just couldn't. I just couldn't. It's a one step at a time thing, I guess. And I don't want to let my family down, and most importantly, I don't want to let myself down or my children. When you're locked up and when you're on drugs, that's the first thing to go. Like, your family and your children, like, you start to see that you're this is the example that you're portraying to anyone. And I don't want my daughters to think that, you know making mistakes and being a fly boy or a hot boy is okay,
Right. No, I hear you.
because it's
I
not.
hear you.
Yeah.
Because it's not. It's not. It's about integrity. It's about, doing the right thing. And, sometimes those things don't happen when you live that lifestyle. There's nothing good happening. So
Yeah, you're right about that, man.
it's important to have that integrity, and show that to your daughter. Kids, it's tough. These kids nowadays, it's really, really hard out there, and we got to show them, we got to teach them, we got to lead them, we got to show them the right way.
Exactly. And and if everyone's situation is different, I'm gonna do the best I can for my children and be involved in their life the best way that I can. You know what I mean? And that's the decision that I've made is to stay clean and stay out of prison for them and myself.
Talk to me a little bit about like what's on the horizon for you. What kind of goals? What kind of what do you have in the pipeline? Like, what are we going to see? Are we going to see you somewhere? You said you're the greatest promoter on earth. Like, what are we promoting right now? Tell me what's going on.
I am. You know what? A, a, a fantastic thing just happened. Not too long ago, Kelly and I got to interview Kim Whitley
Okay.
for a slug in the magazine, which is the magazine. In the past, we've had women conferences at UNLV, which we expect to do that pretty soon. Um, I'm going to Hollywood with my boy This Ain't 2K and Ty. We should be doing another show somewhere in Hollywood, one of those major clubs, and that's I'm really looking forward to that because Hollywood has really accepted our music and accepted the brand. The song in Hollywood is a rave EDM song, so yeah, we've really crossed over into a new genre, and it's really fun. I have some things in Las Vegas that are happening, like I have some events that may transpire, and I'm really excited about it because it involves reggae, it involves Mr. Cheeks, it involves a lot of people, a lot of black actors and black entertainment that I'm really excited about.
Okay. All right. That's great, man. It's like, here you are, you're a guy who was in jail and, reinventing himself. And it's just great to see. It's great to see somebody that, you know, stays true to himself and stays true to what he loves. Like music is what you love, entertaining is what you love. So why not keep doing it and why not keep doing it the right way? And that's the, when you find a passion in life, anything is possible and you found the passion and you're going for it.
And you know what? Another thing is I'm like we talked earlier, like I still have we still have personal situations that we're going through at
Yes.
home
Yes.
and that have been made public, and I'm looking inside of myself right now because I'm trying to do the right thing
Right.
and handle things the correct way
Mm-hmm.
and let the system work for me, but it's not working right now. And I'm just really just trying to stay strong and in the right mind frame, not to be in between those four walls ever
Right.
again, not to go through processing ever again.
No.
No, I do not want to eat a noodle burrito
No.
anytime
No.
soon. Anytime soon, a spread,
Right.
and I'm just really trying to keep my head above water again, taking it day by day because the devil is real,
Mm.
you know. And I try to say that all the time. There's something in the Bible that says, we're not fighting against things that are the physical world. We're fighting against the things that are unseen and not seen. And that's pretty much what's happening to me right now. We're in an interracial relationship. Times are the racial social concerns are not, at their best right now. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? America is doing really bad when it comes to that. So we're fighting. Not only have we been, going through some things, we're fighting the race issue too, which blinds most people. And marching for women empowerment and Black Lives Matter and things like that. I'm almost at a fork road, you know, where if I keep doing the right things, I'm just gonna pray that they continue to work out. But if I make one wrong decision right now, or get back into my old ways or my old ways of thinking, we're not going to be having the same conversation.
Right, right. And that's the most important thing, because now you're starting to process things and you're not acting on impulse, which we talked about. Like impulse is like for me, I have to take a breath, and I have to pause because if I act on impulse, no matter how much work I do on myself or how much, clean time I have or how much I distance myself from my old life, sometimes impulse takes over and things come out that you don't want to come out. And, you know, you have to take that breath and you have to pause because, you know, we could easily revert back to where we were like that. And
Easily. Again, I went to high school, graduated high school, went to college, man. I'm certified in warehouse and distribution and things like that. You know what I mean? I'm well educated, but none of that matters when you have that DNA in you. You know what I mean? When you're from a rough place and you just respond and react. You know, you have to. I had to recondition and reset everything. You know that I knew because, like I said, you know, growing up Midwest, East Coast, West Coast, if somebody bring it to you, you're giving it right back, if not worse than how they brought it. So um, my mistakes in life has led me to believe that it's not about what you do, it's how you handle it. It's how you handle what just happened to you. And like you said, this impulse thing, man, it's hard to keep it under control when you know that you know you're a savage and no, for real.
no, I
And
get it. I get it. I get it.
yeah,
I get it.
yeah, like so many people don't know how close they are to really getting truly messed up. You know what I
No, I
mean?
get
Not
it, man. I get it.
if you've been in medium security or max security prison, you know it's a jungle in there. And like I was telling you earlier, I didn't go through Cook County Jail and you know a super max to let some chumps get to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we definitely survived race wars. Just your opposition, if you're into that, your opposition really getting at you in prison. You got to stand up for yourself or die.
Right.
And I'm really not trying to bring that behavior to this situation.
No, I get it.
And they're trying to make me like they're doing everything to try to do that,
Right.
to try to get me to slip up, but
Right.
I'm just not going to do it.
No, and I know you talked about, hold on. I know you talked about what was happening earlier, like, sometimes, we want to just take control of ourselves and take control of the situation. And, you know, it's better to just stand back and let the things play out because when you control something and you're trying to control it, it never ends up right. So I know you're going through a situation, just let it go to, you have to let it go. You have to let it go to fruition. It's going to happen. Whatever's going to happen from it's going to happen from it, and you just got to, stay the course. And, things work out for the right reasons, man. Things work out. They might not work out today, but they work out for the right reasons. And, you know, you're staying true to yourself. And that's the blessing, man. That's just the blessing. And especially in the industry you're in, the life that you had, just staying true to yourself it's a miracle, man. You are a miracle.
Thank you, brother. And I really appreciate this interview, letting me get this part of my life out. You know, most interviews that I do, you know, they're just basically, you know, oh, what's going on with the music, and you know, is that. But this, you know, when we talked earlier, I really felt comfortable with this because, again, I'm at a crossroads, and I'm really like okay, I have success in the music industry, which I've been waiting for and working for, and now these people are putting me in a place where I don't want to be on the
Right.
other end. So it's polarity, really. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's it's both sides of the pendulum swings both ways. You
Right.
know, and that's what I'm dealing with right now. And I'm trying to use these good vibes so my pendulum can swing more this way
Right.
than it is that way.
Beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
yeah, man.
All
So
right.
thank you
Good.
for those compliments.
No problem. Anytime, man. It was a pleasure talking to you. And why don't you let everybody know where to find you and where they could hear your music and how they could find you and all your events that you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. Luckie Mazi, Luckiemazi. You can always Google that, and Google the greatest promoter on earth. That's why I am on Instagram, which is spelled just like how it sounds, the greatest promoter on earth. And you can definitely find me and find everything.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Once again, thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming. I enjoyed talking to you. I enjoyed hearing from you. And, just keep up the good work, man. Just keep it one day at a time. You'll be fine. Just keep on staying the path, and you'll have all the blessings.
Man, God is the greatest, man, and I appreciate that, man. I receive it too. I really appreciate it.
All right. All right. Thank you once again. And this was Mindset Unleashed. And, we're out here to help you guys, just like we did with Lucky, man. He's a musician, but he has another side to him. And we want people to understand that you could do anything you want if you put your mind to it, man. Your life is at your fingertips. You could do anything you want. So just keep going one day at a time, keep on moving forward. And, it'll be great. Everything will be great.